single Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, right here on twitch.tv/awesomehardware. If you're watching us on YouTube, we split the show up into two halves. The first half this week has been on Paul's channel, youtube.com/paulshardware, which you can find the link of in my description below. Or if you're just joining us, then stay tuned. You're on the Awesome Sauce. No, not Awesome Sauce. Wow, am I still saying Awesome Sauce? You're on the Bitwit YouTube channel. There's a little Freudian slip there. Sorry about that one, guys. But just stay tuned because this is a epic tech news show that you guys are going to enjoy. Because we have fun while we're doing it, which means you'll have fun too, watching us do it and have fun.
That's the MO.
That's the MO. We occasionally like to have a drink or five on the show, like we have already. So cheers to you guys who are able to drink with us, even if it's just water. You can still drink with us.
Please drink responsibly.
The act of drinking is so broad. You could be drinking anything.
You should show them what you drank on the first half of the show.
Paul was kind enough to give me some Brother Thelonious, which is a Belgian ale. Did
I point out this is 9% alcohol by volume?
I can definitely tell.
9.4%.
My liver and brain agree with you on that one. We can confirm. So now we're drinking some St. Archer, or I'm drinking some St. Archer White Ale, which is also very tasty. It's dangerous too because it's fairly low percentage, but it's incredibly tasty and very refreshing.
I'm working on AleSmith Nut Brown. Almost done. Okay.
All right. We also have stores that you guys can pick up merchandise from. My store is bitwit.tech, and I'm selling lots of cool stuff. The CPU Cooler shirt is now available in Heather Dark Gray, as Paul was just showing there. We also have the Bitwit Words in a Circle pint glass. These are very popular, and they're extremely high quality. In fact, I was walking down the hallway in the office the other day, and a nice young lady said, "Hey, nice glasses." And I said, "Thanks, they're per soul." And she was very confused because I was actually confused because I thought she was talking about my eyeglasses.
Ah.
So I mentioned the name of my glasses, and then, of course, she was like, "No, I was talking about your other glasses." I was like, "Oh, yeah, clearly you were talking about the glasses that I'm holding in my hands and not my eyeglasses, and you're not commenting on my fashionable apparel." It was very awkward.
Did you tell her she was stupid?
I told her she was dumb and she should have been more specific. Next time when you see a man wearing glasses, holding glasses, specify which glasses you're talking about, is what I should have said to her.
Otherwise, you will cause great offense.
Yep. So buy the glasses. They'll make you very awkward and misunderstood, I guess is the moral of the story. You can also maybe just go to Paul's store and just buy something there that won't cause as much controversy at ballshardware.net. Oh, yeah.
Ballshardware.net.
Ballshardware.net.
Really
just like I said. He's got all kinds of things like desk mats, mouse pads, bottle openers, the Oxblood screw shirt.
The Oxblood.
Screw shirt
has
been a hot seller.
By
if you buy anything from either of our stores, you will get a loud and proud Johnson shout out by the end of the show, which always entices many and defends few.
Speaking of, we neglected to do Johnsons for my half, but we'll do them at the end of this half of the show. So we should proceed.
Let's proceed to news. Tech news. And by the way, thank you, Paul, for curating a lot of these stories today.
Oh, you're welcome.
I was short on time, and Paul was kind of ahead of the game this morning, so he put a bunch of stories in the Google Doc.
I was all over it.
Which I was like, yeah, free stories. So,
Kyle did that for me like a few weeks back, too. That was
yep.
reciprocal.
We're broing out.
Always willing to give each other the reach around.
Scratch my cock, I'll scratch yours. All right, so AMD has recently announced a powerful semi-custom Ryzen Vega SoC for game consoles and PCs. This is an article from PC Gamer, so thank you to Paul for writing this article.
Paul Lilly, that is.
Paul Lilly, of course. Now, AMD announced a new semi-custom SoC featuring a 4-core and 8-thread Ryzen processor with 24 Vega CUs, and 8 gigs of GDDR5 memory. This is intended to power according to AMD, a new gaming PC and upcoming console in, wait for it, China. It doesn't seem like, at least for now, the US will get to experience this new SoC, but AMD's worked with the company Zhongshan Subar on the project. Still not sure what other manufacturers it might be working with in the future. The chip in question, the SoC, is running at 3 GHz on all 4 of its cores, along with 24 Vega CUs clocked at 1.3 GHz for graphics. That's slightly fast, according to the article, and this is, I don't know if this is a typo, but they're saying that that's slightly faster than an RX 580, which does not make sense to me at all. Because frequency-wise, okay. That makes sense. It seemed like when you're comparing it to a graphics card like that, that you're talking about performance, which I don't think is the
They're
case.
probably just referencing the frequency.
Probably just referencing the clock speed, so that makes a lot more sense. It's unclear if AMD plans on releasing something similar for the global market, or if this is just a one-off side project intended for China, trying to bring AMD products to a more global audience. It's a high possibility.
So if they have OEMs in China taking this and integrating it into console-like devices, I would be curious to see if those, if they're outfitted with a basic bit of storage and whatever else is necessary, like a power supply, if those would be viable as like little mini PCs,
I'm getting an urgent message from my wife saying, "Let me in, hurry! I need to use the restroom. It's urgent."
All right. Or should I go let her in?
You can go since it's my half or
Is
whatever.
she?
If you want.
Where is she?
Oh, maybe I should just go.
Okay, you go.
Okay, just make it
I'll
simpler.
stay
Sorry,
here
wife in distress.
and keep people entertained.
Okay, cool. Good. Thanks, Paul. I'll be right back, guys. She just texted back and said someone's letting her in, so I'm leaving her for dead. I left her alone. Hopefully she gets in safe.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, no worries. I have my phone on me if she needs to get a hold of me again. All right, so what did you guys cover? What did I miss in the last
What?
20 seconds?
We went over everything. We covered the rest of your show.
Oh, beautiful.
Yep.
Okay.
It's pretty much
Great.
handled.
Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys next week. And to a trade. Let's trade.
I did it.
butthole.
I did it in my style, which is maybe not quite the same as your style.
Ah,
so maybe
So it was boring.
just to give people
just
maybe
monotone.
what they're into for your half of the show. Maybe
Uh-huh.
maybe you should just recap things real quick.
Okay, I'll recap stuff. Maybe starting off with the Google story about the Pixel 3.
Okay,
Since we already talked about the AMD SoC.
that's a great idea.
All right, cool. Let's move on.
Pixel 3.
Jesus.
Wow, Kyle.
This is from BGR.com. Google has mistakenly leaked its Pixel 3 launch date
Mistakenly.
and confirms it'll copy Apple again. Is the headline here? This is Tech Today. That's the name of the YouTube channel that first broke the news that the Pixel 3 is launching on October 4th, based on a brand campaign posting on Famebit. Famebit is a company that's known for connecting influencers with brands and helping them make and create campaign videos, apparently. So Famebit posted a campaign posting basically asking Canadian influencers to create content on how easy it is to switch to the Pixel 3. And in this campaign posting, it mentions the Pixel 3 is launching October 4th, 2018. So there's definitely some language here that maybe contradicts with what with what Google was trying to keep confidential, but basically spills the beans on the release date for the long-awaited new smartphone. Apparently, Google is following in Apple's footsteps, is what this also tells us, because very much like this campaign, Apple also gave a lot of their iPhone X samples to very popular influencers long before the launch of their now flagship phone. So it seems like Google is kind of following that trend where they're like, hey, we see the value in online influencers and like the power they have to influence consumer base, and so we also now want to give our phones to these people and have them talk about it on their respective YouTube channels or social media platforms for promotion and shit like that.
I thought they were also copying the notch.
Yes, so that is not the only way they're copying Apple. I was just getting to that.
Oh,
they are also going to be copying Apple in a sense, design language-wise, with the physicality of their phone having a notch. You can see that there's a notch here on this mock-up of what looks to be a potential Pixel 3 phone. And it was very, very popular, very revolutionary with the iPhone X having a notch in it. And
I like how the power button matches the desktop, like the background image.
Yes, it does. It's very. What is this?
The
A
sand,
freaking.
the sand on the beach. Does this change color?
What
if
is this?
you
Like a
update your...
TLD video? Looks just super crispy, in all ways. But so Google seems to be copying Apple a lot here, following in their footsteps. They've also swiped the iPhone X gestures for Android, which also indicates that they're, very closely following the Apple trend here. It's very unclear whether October 4th is when the Pixel will actually hit store shelves or if it's just an announcement date. But at the very least, it will probably be a week or so before the Pixel 3 launches after October 4th. If it isn't October 4th, in fact. So, yeah, Pixel 3. Thoughts and opinions on the notch? Because I feel like, to me, it's such a small change. It doesn't seem very revolutionary to me, but people seem to be making a huge fuss about the notch. There's so many varying opinions about this thing that, like, maybe it's worthy of discussion. Like, does it change anything for you? Do you care if your next phone has a notch or not? What does this actually mean for the average user? You get maybe a couple millimeters more of space for your date and time, maybe notification bar.
Like, I'm torn, right? I'm torn. Because if I look at my phone, because I have an original Pixel XL, there's a lot of space up here at the top.
Sure.
So that could be more screen space. And if I'm looking at, like, my notifications, if they were up there, then that would be more screen space.
Sure.
Screen space is always nice. Everyone's always
Right.
talking about, like, the edge to edge. If you had a phone that actually had the full edge to edge display
Right.
everywhere, that'd be kind of cool.
Right.
So I guess I'm not opposed to it, but like when the iPhone X came out, there was so much discussion about it back and forth, like, and everything. Like, I feel like the idea of it was tainted.
Because it was
a tainted
an iPhone.
notch. It's a tainted.
Tainted notch. Here's my thing, is that oftentimes I'll have notification icons at the very top of my screen, all the way across, from left to right, across the phone. So what happens if you have a notch
dirty.
in the
That
middle?
makes my phone feel dirty.
I mean,
Get rid of your notifications, Kyle.
no, I do, but I'm just saying at a given moment when I haven't checked my phone in 5 freaking minutes, the notification icons will fill up, and then it's like this clusterfuck at the top of my phone. What happens when you have a notch at the top? Do the icons float around the notch?
See, that's one of the added features. It's basically telling you need to be more of an asshole, like, as a person, in order to drive more people away, so you have less people contacting you, fewer notifications, simplify your life, make everything better.
I'm pretty sure that's not the overall message, the overarching message that Apple or Google was trying to go for. Where the fuck else would the notch exist, Kyle?
You have too many friends. You need enough friends to fill up, like, this many notifications on the left side of the notch, and that's all.
The notch, aka the friend blocker, has now been implemented across many universal smartphones worldwide. Okay, let us know what you guys' thoughts are on the notch. Let's move on to our next article here. Mars pulls ads from YouTube drill videos. Now, when you first suggested that I talk about this article on the show doc, I initially thought
what I was talking about?
thought you meant the planet Mars has pulled advertisements from YouTube videos featuring power drills.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was about too.
But instead, you were talking about Mars, the candy company, not the planet, pulling all their advertising from YouTube after discovering one of their ads was played just before a drill music video. Now, what the hell is drill music? I hate to sound irrelevant, but this is the first time I've personally ever heard the term drill music. I've never heard this term before. I did not know drill music existed until this day. So drill music, apparently from what I've gathered on the interwebs, it's basically a type of rap music that allegedly glamorizes gang violence and has been used in many instances to fuel rivalries between gangs. Now, this is just my impression of drill music based on the article I've read. It doesn't mean that that is what it is.
Thought that was all rap music, Kyle.
That could be all rap music as well. That's a very generalization type statement, Paul, that I'm not sure everyone would agree with, but apparently the people in this article are painting drill music in a poor light. In fact, one of the members of the group who uploaded the video in question, the drill music video, Sadiq Kamara, was stabbed to death in South London just a week ago. That's him right there. That guy is currently dead. Fatally stabbed. And he is part of the group that uploaded this music video, of which there was a Mars commercial playing before it, which caused Mars to back out of all of their advertising on YouTube, which equates to about...
Is this picture right as he realizes he's about to be stabbed?
It looked... I mean, that I would have a much more fearful face. That looks like the face that... maybe like when someone was about to tell him he was about to be... I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what's going on in that picture, what was happening. But at the end of the day, it seems that this is a lot of money that YouTube is now losing, that creators like me and Paul, like me and you, are losing now, from a company like Mars backing out. Apparently their advertising was worth about £5 million, British pounds, to the YouTube website. It's a lot of money.
It is.
That's pretty brutal. I mean, it's interesting to see how... What I always find curious is how brands associate so strongly with the content their ads are being played on, which I guess makes sense to a degree, but it's still very much an old way of thinking, in my opinion. Like, just the way ads are structured. Like, okay, for example, if one of my ads was played on, like, some YouTube video that I didn't necessarily agree with, where I'm like, that's, like, I don't align, like, my brand doesn't align with the beliefs of that brand.
One of your ads?
Yeah, like, just, no, like if let's say I created a pre-roll for myself, like subscribe to Bitwit.
Okay.
I created my own pre-roll, and my pre-roll somehow aired on like a PewDiePie video where he was talking about like Nazis and shit, because that's actually happened. I don't know if I would necessarily be like, my brand doesn't align with those values and morals, and therefore I'm backing out all of my advertising spend with this company and this brand and this website. Of course, I would definitely make a statement and be like, obviously I don't reflect these morals or whatever. But at the same time, it's just it's interesting to me how these brands are so sensitive with the content that's being played right after their ads, which I guess they can be, because people are super I feel like people are hypersensitive these days, where it's like the person who, there's probably like 1% of people who see the Mars commercial for Snickers or something. I don't even know if Mars owns Snickers, but let's say there's like a Mars Snickers commercial that airs before some vaguely politically racist content. Like, there's got to be like a small handful of people who watch that, who see that, and like tweet to Mars like, how dare you support and advertise your brand on such heinous and despicable content. Like,
it's a popular thing to, you know.
Like, don't these people know these are randomly generated?
Who is a public figure says something that people don't agree with, to attack their advertisers, or to go to communicate to their advertisers and try to get the advertisers to pull out from something. But like, the implication here is that, like, if advertisers are hesitant to provide ad money for a platform where they don't know where their ads are going to be placed, and if their ads are going to be placed in juxtaposition to something that is offensive, or they find be a negative association for their brand, then they're not going to want to advertise there. I don't know the upshot from all this, but hopefully it's not the.
There's no upshot.
Hopefully it's not the kicking off of like some second wave of companies pulling ads off of YouTube or something like that, because that would suck. The adpocalypse from, was it last year or whatever? That was
right. 2017, I think.
That was very inconvenient for many people.
And we're still feeling the effects of it.
Yeah.
I would say. Apparently now the music video has been demonetized. No surprise. And what this means for us is that Paul and I can no longer use drill music in our tech videos.
Which I'm pissed about.
I'm very upset.
I want to pull my ads from Mars candy bars.
Yeah, I'm stopping all that.
I'm no longer advertising on Mars candy bars.
I'm eating Abbas only from now on.
They're delicious.
To show my resilience. Okay, let's move on to the next story. From bittech.net, Razer has turned to Kickstarter in order to raise funds for their left-handed Naga Trinity. The Naga Trinity is a very popular mouse from the peripheral giant, and now they're trying to get fans to raise money for this new product. CEO Minliang Tan claims that previous left-handed models have been created at a loss. So let's make the customers fund it. Let's create a Kickstarter campaign where people who really give a shit and who really want a Naga Trinity left-handed gaming mouse can fund it up to $990,000, which is their crowdfunded goal.
Dang.
Which they've currently met about 34,000 of. They have 24 days to go, and it's gonna be a stretch. It's gonna be a long road.
It seems like they've got a ways to go here.
They have a ways to go. Granted, they still have about a month, but that's a lot of money. $1 million is a lot of money, even for a giant crowdsourced campaign audience. So, what's going on here? Apparently, Razer, according to them, they've been one of the only sources in the game to produce a left-handed gaming mouse in recent years. And they've, according to CEO, have produced these left-handed gaming mice at a loss. So Kickstarter and sites like it have become a really popular way for these bigger brands to launch new product lines at very minimal risk. Because if Razer has been producing a bunch of left-handed mice that they've essentially taken a loss on and have been losing money on, there's really no harm, no foul in producing a Kickstarter campaign that advocates for a left-handed gaming mouse. Because if it fails, this is an all-or-nothing campaign. If they do not meet the $990,000 goal, then this whole project is completely scrapped, and Razer does not lose a dime.
And they just get to keep all the Kickstarter money.
No, all the money will be refunded back to all the backers, Paul. Okay. So it's interesting that they've taken to this platform for this initiative, which I think kind of makes sense. If there's a large enough demand for it, but Razer's like, hey, shit, I don't want to lose a couple $1 million from something that people aren't going to want to invest in, then it kind of makes sense. Again, it's not looking that great. It could always turn around, but I feel like, I don't know, for it launching a day ago, it should be a lot higher than 35K if they stand a chance, because this campaign's only going to fizzle out as time goes on. Between now and the 24 days that they have left to go, the funding is just going to get lower and lower after each passing day.
But Kyle, this dollar amount we're looking at here was before we talked about it on Awesome Hardware.
You're right, Paul. And now that we've given it the promotional tools it needs from a globally recognized live stream, there's no way that it can fail.
Gave it the Awesome Hardware bump.
You can feel free to advertise with us at any time. Just contact one of our famous PR agents.
Here's what I don't understand, right? So manufacturing processes for something like this, there's a lot of money that goes into tooling to create the production lines that can spit the products out, right?
Right.
The product's designed, and then they got to create the tooling. There's some custom work that goes on there. Once it's created, they can manufacture it, and a lot of that cost is sort of front loaded.
Right.
So what I'm kind of confused about when it comes to left-handed mice, because most left-handed mice are actually just ambidextrous, so they're created with like sort of a symmetrical design,
Right.
left to right. So,
Yep.
you know,
It works either way.
Either way doesn't work.
Sure.
But like, why couldn't they take the existing design of the Razer Naga Trinity and just flip it? Like, right? 180. They did all this design so people.
Well, you still
can
need
use
new
it.
tooling with it, don't you?
You need to do more tooling and stuff. What I'm saying is like, isn't the design work already done? Doesn't that?
I honestly think this is just covering
Like-
the cost of the tooling.
Okay, so that might and that could very much.
When
be
you
the
have a
case,
global
but-
audience like Razer does, I feel like tooling for a new product like this could cost upwards of $1 million.
That's totally possible. I don't know enough about that side of the industry to say one way or another.
I don't know either, but it just seems to be the case if they're asking for this much for their goal. I've heard from different articles and different sources and stuff that tooling is incredibly expensive, even for something like a gaming mouse. Where I think a lot of their R&Ds. Sorry, I just keep burping. I'm just gonna burp my way through this entire article. I think all of their R&D is pretty much done because they already know the Naga Trinity works and they already know how it's going to be designed. But the actual tooling that they have with whatever manufacturers in China or wherever they're doing the manufacturing from, I think is a huge bulk of the cost, which is what's causing their losses with a lot of the existing left-handed mice that Razer currently makes. So, I think Razer here is just kind of calling their audience's bluff and saying, hey, all of you people who are like on our forums like complaining that we don't have a dedicated left-handed gaming mouse, let's put your money where your mouth is. We'll make it if you guys show enough interest in wanting this product. If you're gonna front us a little bit of money here, then we'll make it happen. But you guys got to show us that there's a large enough market for it to be worth it. So, which I think is a fair, that's fair. If there's a huge enough demand, then Razer will do it. So, I guess the success of this campaign.
I can imagine if you're a lefty and you've been forced to use a right-handed mouse or something like that, then actually getting a mouse that's designed for a lefty would probably be.
We should have brought in like an actual native left-handed user in here and like gotten his 2 cents on it, because I feel like a lot of left-handed users will actually still use their right hand for gaming purposes. I know a lot of left-handed users that still use a mouse right-handed just because that's the only thing that's been available to them since they were young, growing up in school. They didn't have a left-handed mouse option when you were in typing class in 3rd grade or whatever. So I feel like a lot of left-handed users are still using mice right-handed and they're perfectly fine with it, but and because of that, I feel like it makes the market for like dedicated left-handed mouse users even smaller. I guess time will tell to see if there's actually a huge demand for that. But let's move on to our last article here because we're short on time once again. Elon Musk has tweeted that Tesla may go private. What? Okay.
Private.
Let's talk about this. This is an article from WCCF Tech.
Go for your privates.
And private parts all around. And Paul, I'll probably rely on you somewhat for this story because I don't really know anything about stocks or how the stock market works. And even though you don't invest in stocks yourself, I feel like you're still more well versed in the matter than I am. So I'm going to read off a bunch of jargon that's pulled, quite frankly, directly from the article, which then you can paraphrase into words that make sense to our audience. Thank you in advance.
Don't saddle me with responsibilities.
So thank you very much, Paul, for all of your help that you'll be contributing to this article. Elon Musk, the CEO of SpaceX and Tesla,
and the Boring Company.
And the Boring Company, most importantly, tweeted recently. He tweeted this week, am considering taking Tesla private at $420. Funding secured. First of all, I like how he settled with $420. Like where was he was just like where was the hashtag? Where was the hashtag Blaze it?
Blaze it.
420 Blaze it at the end of that tweet. Shortly after, think about this. Just let the gravity of this situation sink into your minds. shortly after Elon Musk tweeted a tweet. The stock prices for Tesla surged. Regulators temporarily halted trading as pending news from the company swirled. Could you imagine if you just tweeted something from your phone, like you're taking a shit, you tweet something, that it changes all of Wall Street? Like they stop all trading for that stock in particular, and the stock pricing for your particular company just goes off the charts. Just because you tweeted something while you were taking a shit. Tesla is currently the most shorted company on Wall Street. Many investors will lose lots of money if the company succeeds. And Elon Musk has expressed many times how this annoys him. He's also said that the funding to take the company private at $420 per share was secured. So he seems very confident here the buyout is good for a 20% premium over the current market price of the stock and would value the company at over $70 billion at current numbers of outstanding shares. If the CEO himself, Elon Musk, owns roughly 20% of Tesla, he would need about $50 billion in additional capital to fully privatize the company, alongside with a shareholder vote of yes on the move. So the shareholders need to agree that this is a good idea in how the company moves forward. He seems pretty confident that the money is there. As he demonstrated in a follow-up tweet, he said, investor support is confirmed. Only reason why this is not certain is that it's contingent on a shareholder vote. So again, the shareholders need to back this up. Saudi Arabia, just to make things even more intense, Saudi Arabia wealth funds brought up to a $2 billion stake in Tesla recently. So it's possible that Musk has in fact secured funding from overseas. And trading for Tesla stock was reactivated just before the closing bell was rung. So just at the last minute, they were like, okay, we can trade Tesla stock again. And the automaker closed the day up 12%. So they went up 12% in a single day, realizing a massive $6 billion appreciation in market capitalization. One tweet sent from the shitter, and you've now gained a $6 billion appreciation in market cap. Elon Musk definitely has some influence there. So I don't know what any of what I just said means. I was just kind of rambling off of what the article... I mean, I get the gist of it. But essentially, it seems like Tesla may go private. At that point, what happens to the shareholders?
The shareholders would get paid out for their holdings.
Right. So whatever stock they have, they get the money.
Yeah. So if he's taking it private at $420 a share, then
Right.
anyone who owns shares would get paid $420 per share that they owned.
Sure.
As a payout.
And
I don't know what happens between him saying I'm thinking about taking it public at $420 a share and it surging like it does, and then suddenly the value being more than it was, because obviously the price per share is now more than $420.
Right.
I don't know how that gets worked out.
Right.
What
I didn't really get from this article, and this is just me being a noob about stocks and the market in general, is why would he want to go private in the first place?
I think the reason he wants to go private is because he likes to
Less pressure?
It's like he likes to do his own thing a lot of the time, and he also, I think, likes to
take risks.
Likes to be
eccentric.
Eccentric or just contrary, like.
Sure.
Right. So there's been a ton of like you said, Tesla's the most shorted stock on the market right now.
Yeah.
And when you short a stock, it means you're betting on that stock losing value. If the stock, if you short a stock and it loses value, you make money.
Right.
If you short a stock and the stock value goes up, then the person who is shorting the stock loses money.
Right.
So Elon has certainly, because I follow him on Twitter and stuff, like he's certainly at times in the past sort of lashed out at people who have shorted his stock and been like, haha, you people who thought the stock was about to tank because of Model 3 production or whatever, you were wrong and now you've lost money.
Right.
But I think he also probably has his own personal opinions about how the stock market works in general. And yeah, there's a lot of benefits to being a privately run company versus public. There's a lot of stuff that you don't have to disclose when it's private versus public. And you're less beholden to stock owners and the sort of the vicissitudes of the market, so to speak.
And then explain what happened with like Saudi Arabia wealth funds bringing up to a $2 billion stake. Does that mean they bought $2 billion in stock?
So if the market cap is the number of stocks that are available, the quantity of stock that's available in the company times the value of that stock. That's the market cap.
Right.
So if the market cap is at a certain point right now, then anyone who owns stock in Tesla, in order for it to go private, would need to be bought out. Mm-hmm. Elon Musk probably doesn't have that amount of capital to just buy all those people who own stock out in order to go public. So he needs an investor in order to do that, and he's saying the investor is coming from Saudi Arabia.
I see. Interesting. Okay. Well, Tesla's definitely been grappling with a lot of issues financially and, logistically. They just now ramped up their Model 3 production.
Spider says, Spider-Fan, Spider's one of our other mods in chat, aside from Cell. He says Elon says he's not forcing sales, so existing shareholders can keep their peace. So, yeah. A lot of I haven't read up too much on this particular story, so
sure.
But yeah, that's good to know as well.
Cool. All right. Well, that's what's going on with Tesla. I guess we can move on to Pimp My PC.
Pimp My PC.
Let's start off with Samuel. Samuel. Okay. Let's. What kind of system is this? We got a Corsair spec.
I need to get your updated.
Oh yeah. Over here. We should put that like on a NAS or something. So we've got a Corsair spec 01 for our case, an MSI 970 gaming, RX 580, and a 1050 Ti for encoding while gaming on the 580. Interesting.
Huh.
What a peculiar setup.
How often do you game and encode at the same time?
Yeah, what a
or maybe he's
combo.
talking about gaming and streaming. He could game on the 580 and set encoding like with NVENC.
Can you do that though?
Yeah.
Really? So you don't need a second system if you want to like stream with one and game with another? You can just have two GPUs?
I don't think so.
Okay. He's got an FX 8370 HyperX 16 gig kit and some other stuff. All right. Okay. What I will say right off the bat is color. Color is kind of mismatched here. You have red accents on your heat sinks on the motherboard, but a green LED fan in the back and what looks to be white up top.
Maybe blue?
Or blue. At any rate, I would change them all to red. I think that would look sweet. Black and red is like arguably overplayed, but also tried and true and cannot look bad.
It's also very easy to find matching
very
stuff
easy
to go along with.
And it will not look bad. It might be common, but it won't look bad. Black and red looks very good. So maybe swapping out that green fan for a red one, unless it's RGB, then just configure it to red. And having some red LED fans at the top too. I'd say make all three the same. All three fans the same model.
We only have a single picture here, so it's possible that like the colors on the graphics card and the fans are all cycling or something like that. But yeah, I mean, lining those up would probably look a little bit better. I like how full the system looks with the two graphics cards.
Does it look like his like the top card is leaning on the hard drive cage? Like it's using
possibly.
It as a crutch almost.
It might be sitting on that.
It almost looks perfectly like aligned with the card.
Which isn't bad. I mean, it looks straight.
Yeah, zero sag whatsoever.
No sag there.
That's kind of perfect.
Your cable management is mostly good. I mean, there's a little bit of, I mean, you might tidy some of the stuff up back here. It's also possibly the angle of the picture and the fact that there's a flash that's really brightening that up and making it stand out more. So yeah, overall, pretty clean looking system. I mean, I like the assortment of hardware that you have in there, and it sounds like you're making good use out of it. So yeah, hopefully some of Kyle's suggestions help you out if you're having any issues syncing things up with the
Looks
LEDs.
good, Samuel.
Hank.
Next up we have Hank. what does he got? 7600K, Strix Z270E, Kraken X52, 32 gigs of RAM, GTX 1080 and a 970 Evo, and a 2 terabyte NVMe drive.
All right.
Well then.
So
Wow,
I
lots of RGB.
appreciate the rear shot of the cable management here.
Yep.
It looks like he's using an SSD tray to tidy his cables here. I want to give a shout out to that. I appreciate that.
Ah,
Right?
clever.
There's no SSD mounted. He just mounted it
I haven't
there
really
to,
thought about that.
to
Yeah.
hold this cable
Sure.
extension in place.
Sure, why not?
All right. This side of the system. Wait, I'm confused here. All right. First off, you got cable combs here. These really need to be spaced out. If you can push them all down underneath so you can't see them at all and the cables are still straight, do that.
Yeah.
If not, try to minimize it so you only have one or maybe two of these visible. It's best to keep these cable combs
Match 'em up.
kind of in place to line things up, but if you can then also push them out of sight, that's a little bit better. It also looks like slightly different that you have your 8 and 6 pin for your graphics card all tidy here, and then the 24 pin here is, it makes the 24 pin I
Right.
feel like look less.
Yeah, bring
Tidy.
some of those cable combs over, closer to the connector.
What the heck is this? Why? This
looks
looks
like-
like an external USB 3.0, but I don't know what it's plugged into right there. I don't know any motherboard that has a plug on it right here that something like this cable would need to be plugged into that's blue. What is this?
What board is it?
I am baffled.
What board is that?
It's looks like an Intel mainstream. He's got a 970 Evo in there, so it's
No,
not like
he didn't list the. He said Strix 270.
Strix 270. 270-E. So G-Scale memory is looking clean. I mean, yeah, your dead-on view of the system here is looking very clean, and like I think what a lot of people aim for when they're putting a system together and throwing the RGB design in there and everything. What else? I don't know. Push-pull on the front radiator. I mean, I guess that's okay. The cables from that.
People are saying it's
Alright.
maybe external PCIe.
That's so weird, though. Like
That's so weird. Why?
I don't know. I'm just, I really
That's so weird.
not sure about that. All right. We got these top fans up here too.
I'm not sure.
So yeah, I don't have a lot of suggestions except for the cable combs aesthetically, and then I don't know. Can you get a 24 pin cable comb as well to straighten those out? That might be nice.
Yeah.
And then I'm just so baffled by the little blue extension down there. But thank you, Hank, for sending that in.
Very nice system though. James. Core i7 6900K, 4.2 gigahertz at 1.23 volts. Corsair Dominator Platinum, 32 gigs at 2400. Asus X99 Deluxe, MSI GTX 1080 Ti, and a bunch of other cool stuff. InWin 303 EK water cooling goodies. All right, so first off, I'm gonna say this before Paul does. Get your PC off the floor.
Computer off floor.
Computer off floor, if you really care about it. And wow, like the tubing looks really nice. It's soft tubing, so no elegant hard tubing here, but it still looks really cool. You're using like a matte black tubing, which I think looks really nice, with some gold fittings, or what looks to be gold fittings, at least from the picture here.
I think that's
Looks very
just the reflection. I think
Okay,
they're
it's
actually
reflection
chrome.
then. Okay, so it's actually chrome, but it looks really nice. As far as pimping out this PC, I honestly think that hardline tubing would make the system look a little bit nicer, because the specs are already there. You don't have to upgrade anything spec-wise. You have tons of airflow in this case. Looks like you've got two of those ML Pro maglev fans at the bottom, which is where the InWin 303 gets all of its intake from. Plenty of are those halos at the top? Looks like those are halos at the top. Your top fans are using
on these
Fantex halos, which also look very nice. It's a beautiful system. It's a really beautiful system, and honestly, the only thing that I could really say here is to go hardline. If you were really feeling it, if you're up to the task, and maybe topping off your reservoir, because the reservoir looks a little bit low.
I agree with Kyle about topping off the reservoir. I actually think the flexible black tubing, I think it looks fine.
Well, just because you built Riptide recently
Exactly.
and you're on a freaking soft tube high.
I want to say the
Jesus.
graphics card supplemental power cables look a little off to me. One's going one way, one's
splitting.
going the other. I feel like those could be tidied up a
They
little
should
bit.
be together. They should be
really
in
nice
harmony.
system over there, but yeah, I mean, like, get it, build a little stand for it. Get it up off the ground if you can.
Yeah.
And replace these speakers. These are like speakers from 1992 or something. These are beige. I think I had these speakers.
Oh yeah, those are old.
Like in 1992. But thank you for the wide shot of,
Thanks, man.
of the setup so we could critique it more.
Next up we have Trey with an Intel Core i5-3570, an Asus Tech P8Z77V LX motherboard, 16 gigs of DDR3, an EVGA GTX 1060 6GB card, and some storage here. Okay, so you have some really solid bones to the system. The component selection is really solid, but I feel like your case is holding you back in terms of aesthetics and performance, perhaps, because even though you have a couple fans at the front panel, I feel like they're just kind of getting blocked by the hard drive cage there. You've got a hard drive cage, even though you only have one drive there, one mechanical and one SSD. I can't imagine much of that airflow is actually getting to your graphics card, for example. So maybe getting a new case would do wonders for your system. As far as the other things going on here, cable management could be much improved. Again, that could be helped along with a newer case that has better cable management, maybe with a power supply shroud, better configured grommets and things like that. More room behind the motherboard tray. There's also kind of a mishmash of color here. You have green in the background of your case on the motherboard tray, but your memory is blue. But you've got green LEDs on the front intake fans. It looks like you're like wrestling with blue and green. I would say just stick to one or the other. It doesn't matter which one.
His motherboard is
blue.
I believe one of those Asus ones that has the light blue accents on it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Z77 boards.
Yep.
So I was about to say, man, you could swap your power supply for one of the 2017 version of the Corsair CX500 has all black cables.
Right.
And get rid of a lot of that ketchup and mustard stuff, and maybe not have to use the PCI Express extensions that you have going on down here.
Sure.
Like a new power supply and a dusting out and sort of a rewiring, I think, could do wonders here. But you'd still be stuck with the blue that just doesn't match and doesn't go with the green on the case. So yeah, it's hard to tell you.
Maybe just upgrade your platform as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, if you
It's
really
time.
want stuff to match and you want to use this case, then you're gonna have to upgrade some core components here.
Yeah.
Other than that, like, I don't know, is this back plate here, the green back motherboard tray, is that removable? If you can remove that, take it out and paint it blue.
Oof, I highly doubt it. But
Take it out, paint it blue, and it'll match with everything else.
Sure.
And get that new power supply, you'll be golden. But it looks like this system just needs some TLC. It's on the floor again.
Yeah.
You got a SSD just kind of hanging out in
Hanging.
there, not mounted. You got some dust in there.
Free
just,
balling.
just take your system and give it some love.
Yeah.
That's really what it needs.
I agree. And finally, we have Steve Hahn with the honorable mention with a fractal design Define R6 and Asus Z370E with a Core i7 8700K at 5.1 gigahertz. Jesus, a dual Asus GTX 1080 Ti. 1080 and SLI setup. Corsair Vengeance RGB RAM, 32 gigs, and a bunch of other cool shit. This is a very, very nice looking system. Tubing job is on fleek, as the kids say these days. Also because you didn't really need to like bend anything yourself. You're just using like fittings and stuff to make all your runs happen, which is totally fine. It makes it look very clean and straight. A very beautiful system. Interesting how you have your front two fans as exhausts in particular.
Oh yeah.
Wouldn't expect that.
I wonder if he did that purely for aesthetics.
That's what I was thinking. Is because the white rings are showing
with
on
the
the
window
outside.
on from that side, you would.
Yep, you would definitely see it.
Which
I'm sure temps are fine. You know.
Yeah, and
maybe some extra dust buildup.
He's got no exhaust at the back, and there's nothing at the bottom. So if everything is exhausting, then he has negative pressure, which might get you some dust buildup in weird places, but it's not necessarily like bad airflow.
If it's a showpiece, it's fine. You know, yeah, it's not bad. I'm sure temps are great. Love that monoblock. I love the choice of RAM with everything. Like even the SLI bridge looks really nice with everything else. Very very well balanced and well thought out system.
These Bits Power, I believe these are Bits Power fittings that he has for the hard lines.
They look great.
And they're so small, like they're like the fitting above the GPU there, like it's like 3 millimeters.
They're like low profile fittings.
Yeah, they're super low profile. That's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Really nice build.
Yeah, very, very beautiful. So thank you very much for sending that in, Steve. Thank you guys for sending all of your systems in to Pimp My PC. We'll be doing this again shortly in a future episode. But for now, we can move on to Q&A. So, let's see.
Beautiful.
Okay, Bazinga X, once again, I found one. The Thermaltake WP200 case can hold over 48 drives with additional rails. Okay, I have to see this. Wait, what? The Thermaltake WP200? Okay. Yes, if you want to buy a case like that, that's fine. The problem with a case like that can house that many drives is that it is still, at the end of the day, not as reliable as a enterprise.
This is one of the Case Labs
knockoffs.
Knockoffs, yeah. Okay.
It's still not as reliable as an enterprise level disk shelf, especially if you're using a SAS connection, which a lot of disk shelves use. The SAS connection will actually use as a redundant connection. So even if one of the connections dies, there's like a backup connection, from what I understand. And they're also just like, they're enterprise level, so they're going to last you a lot longer when you're talking about 24/7 use, assuming that you are going to be using all of your drives all the time. It's just, it's one of those things where, like, this is where the enterprise level hardware really makes a difference, is when you are using your hardware for 24/7 use. So even though this case can house 48 drives or whatever, it still is probably not nearly as reliable as like an LSI disk shelf. And you can confirm this with other sources that you find, but yes, it's an impressive case in that regard. Doesn't mean it's going to be reliable just because it has enough bay housings for 48 drives. But I wish you best of luck in your server building endeavor, and maybe you can post some pics of it on a future Pimp My PC. That'd be kind of cool. Gingerhawk $4.99. I have an AMD FX series PC with Windows 10 and plan on upgrading the motherboard, CPU, and RAM to Ryzen. Update drivers and go. Reinstall Windows 10 and driver. Help. I think if you're coming from the AMD FX series, you're planning on upgrading your motherboard, CPU, and RAM, then it seems like you're just building a new system entirely. In that sense, then I would just say either buy a new copy of Windows, or if you can't afford it, then maybe look into upgrading your current system from, well, actually, I don't know how that would work. I'd probably just do a clean install, man. I'd probably just do a clean install of Windows 10. You can find a key for $30 on Kingwin. That's pretty much all you need to do.
If you have Windows 10 and it's activated to your hardware,
you can switch it over to a new system.
Oh wait, no, he's planning on upgrading motherboard, CPU, and RAM. You're gonna need to buy a new Windows 10.
Just buy a new key on Kingwin.
Yeah.
Same comment as last half, donated twice. Bazinga X, $50. Thank you very much for the generous donation, Bazinga.
Thank you, Bazinga.
Charity challenge: Paul, Greg, Kyle, Steve, GNJ. I will donate $2 per push-up that each of you do within a 10-minute time frame to St. Jude Children's Hospital in the name of the winner. $50 to the winner post end of August. That's actually interesting. Who would win in a push-up contest? Jay, me, you, Greg from Science Studio, or Jay?
Greg.
I was gonna say Greg.
He's the
leanest.
He's the youngest.
He's the youngest and leanest and the meanest. He could definitely beat out all of us in terms of push-ups. I would think.
Probably him, and then maybe Steve.
Steve maybe afterwards.
Steve does bike riding and stuff.
He is more so lower body, but I feel like I could probably get away with like 10 push-ups. So don't put your money on me, Bazinga. But thank you very much for the donation. Bryant Alvarez, $5. i7 8700K, Asus Hero X or 10, 16 gigs, G-Skill 3K RAM, and 960 Evo 500 gig. Built but waiting on the new cards. Look forward to the graphics card reviews. Graphics card reviews on maybe the 1180s, presumably he's talking about. At any rate, I wish you luck on your system build, Bryant. Sounds like it's going to be pretty awesome.
It's a nice setup.
8700K for sure. MST 3K, $10. If I did one push-up, I'd probably need an ambulance. Yeah, well.
I hope I could at least do one.
It'd be really sad if we couldn't. Could you imagine, like, if someone benchmarked us and our physical...
No, that's not...
Our physical prowess?
That's not fair at all.
Like, if we were just if we were just boiled down to, like, graphs and charts, it's like, all right, where does Paul stack up on this benchmark? 3D Mark pull-up extreme.
Like I feel self-conscious right now.
I know,
just
me too.
Bringing up that.
I know.
Possibility.
I know. I do too.
Yeah.
We should just have a jock on stream and just ask him technical questions to make us feel better. No, it'd be terrible. Andrew Schweier, Bazinga X once again. $10. Greg from Science Studio is willing to do the challenge, I guess. Of course he is, because we just announced that he would probably win it. Of course he would be down to do the challenge. Anyone who knows that they're going to win a challenge is down to do the challenge. First rule of order. I guess the SE techies care more about children. Yes, I am trying to shame you two into the challenge.
What's SE?
What is SE?
Southeast?
No, we're south. We're west, if anything.
He's saying Greg is southeast.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Is he southeast? Does he live in?
I forget.
Okay, he must be southeast. They care. Yes, Greg cares more about children than Paul or I do.
I hate children.
Fuck them. I fucking
Children
hate
are
children. Let's kill them all. Andrew Schweier, 5 Canadians. From my last donation, I was giving credit to the person who gave the idea, but this will be my last donation for a while. Uni is coming up. Cheers.
Andrew, save your money. Save your money for books.
Dude, save for books, for life, for children, for
books are
food.
expensive.
Anything else besides us is probably a more worthwhile investment. But thank you anyway. Matty Ice 22, $30 donation. Thank you. Kyle and Paul, I love your show. It helps kill time at work and makes it more bearable. I work as a system specialist, and my job can be a drag sometimes. Keep up the great work. I love your Asian voice, Kyle. Oh, well, that is...
Well, who doesn't?
That is just...
It's so lovable.
It's just so... You know, I got to feature more Lyle on the channel. You know, he's been asking me to be featured more after, you know, all of the positive feedback that he's received. I think it's kind of gotten to his head. So we'll see if we can bring him back on the channel sometime soon. But I appreciate that input and donation, Matty Ice.
Thanks, Matty Ice.
I'm glad that we can make your work week more bearable. That's what we're here for. JJ5Cool1, $4.99. My hardline tubes out of the CPU block melted and leaked. It melted? Wow. What should I check for? 5930K, X99 Sabertooth, Corsair 600C bottom front rad, fans on intake. Your hardline tubes should not have melted.
No, they should not have.
That sounds like something's very, very wrong. I wish I knew more. I wish I knew which tubes melted, which tubes that were connected to which components were actually affected. It seems like there's some serious overheating. If that is the case, you might want to check your CPU, maybe plop it into a different motherboard. and check the temperatures
Maybe
there.
if it's possible, maybe consider integrating a temperature sensor into your loop so you can check on what temperature your actual fluid is.
Yeah.
And make sure it's not getting above 60 C.
Yep.
That's about as hot as it should get.
It's pretty rough though. So good luck.
Yeah, that sucks.
MB67, $13.37. Kyle, I saw your post on Instagram, and I'd like to know how you were able to get that AIO in that case. Same AIO, but mine was too big to fit in that tiny space. Heyo. Anyway, cheers. MB, this is the newest version of the Dan case. This is V3. It literally just arrived on my doorstep like a week ago. The V3, unlike the V1 and V2, has native support for a 92mm AIO. Yes, that's right. A 92mm radiator AIO, which I'll be detailing in a future video coming soon with August PC of the Month here. This allows you to basically mount a 92mm AIO into this case without having to remove the front panel USB 3, which is what V1 and V2 users were having to sacrifice when placing this exact AIO into their Dan cases. So I'm very proud that it all worked out. This allows you to fit that radiator in here without sacrificing the front panel USB 3. I have a liquid-cooled Ryzen 7 chip in here with a GTX 1080 Ti, and it's basically smaller than one of Paul's arms.
How about that tubing clearance, Kyle?
The tubing clearance is negligible. It's very flexible, and I've been able to get the side panel on multiple times without it ever causing any issue. The side panels include Lee & Lee's pin mechanism, their pin technology, with the various latches, as well as a couple Phillips head screws that secure the side panel on there. But there's actually no problem at all mounting the side panels onto that system as it's currently built. But MB, yes, there were definitely some challenges building that system. It's one of the more challenging small form factor builds that I've done in recent memory. And most of the problems that I had stem directly from the AIO in some way, but that will all be detailed in the August PC of the Month video that's hitting FLOATPLANE later tonight and will hit YouTube in a week or two. At any rate, thank you very much for the donation. Finally, we have a comment from Sel, our good friend and moderator in chat. Kyle, happy 3rd wedding anniversary, the elusive wifey sauce. Yes.
Happy anniversary, Kyle.
Today marks the 3rd year anniversary of my and Wifey Sauce's wedding.
3 years.
We've been married 3 years officially now.
Wow.
Yeah, we're still not divorced, so that's a good sign. That's everyone's like, hell yeah, you keep
That's part
staying not divorced.
Part of
marriage.
Maintaining a marriage.
Part of marriage is not getting divorced.
Not getting divorced.
So congratulations to us. Thank you very much, Sel, for the congratulatory words, as well as you, Paul.
I didn't say anything.
I'm probably gonna get in trouble when I end the show because I spent our anniversary doing a live show for you guys instead of celebrating with my wife. But that's okay. The sacrifices that us YouTubers make is clearly undeniable.
And I pointed this out earlier, but we got 3-year wedding anniversary.
Yeah.
158th awesome hardware anniversary.
Yeah, so if you really want to compare, honey,
How do you
go toe to toe.
How do you balance those?
I mean, come at me, bro. So
Sam, we got the numbers. We got the numbers.
we got the
on our
numbers.
side.
That YouTube logic. Oh, okay, we got a final donation from Critfish. $5 says, "Great job, guys."
Thank you, Critfish.
Thank you. We appreciate the congratulatory
You've done a great
words.
job donating.
No,
Oh,
don't do
jeez.
that. There's laptops, there's electronics.
They're so little.
No. Not right now. I'm not in the mood.
You're gonna
You
get,
go
You're
away.
gonna get splashed.
I will lock you out of this room.
Okay.
Wifey Sauce has been... She's left
triggered-
the building.
She's triggered.
She's triggered. She's clearly pissed off.
Okay.
Never forgive me for this incident. Okay, let's get ready to wrap the show up here with some
Johnson's.
Johnson's.
This is working.
It was a near deadly experience. Okay. Oh boy, we have quite a few here. Oh boy. Oh my
Load.
god. Wait, what is it? August 7th?
Oh, I have a few.
Okay.
Okay. Let's begin
Andrew,
with Charles.
Andrew M and Charles. Andrew, you picked up a Bitwit Gaming desk mat. Thank you.
Chuck P, thank you. Charles he's a frequent commenter and interactor.
Chaz!
He got the black Treblan t-shirt. Thank you, Charles.
Roberto Z, CPU Cooler shirt. Thank you for picking that up. Johnson, to you.
Jason B from Ohio got the Pub Glass 20-ounce set. Thank you. And a Johnson for you, Jason.
Double Johnson for Charles. Evolution had the dark gray t-shirt. Double Johnson for Charles.
Ryan L from Nebraska?
Mm.
Nebraska. Ryan L from Nebraska got the metallic silver black tri-blend.
Matthew
Johnson.
L. Matthew L, you son of a gun. You purchased a Tall Boy Imperial pint glass, and I love you.
It's gorgeous. Is that double Johnson?
It might be.
What?
Matt?
Wait,
Matthew? Matthew? Did you get a Matthew too?
I thought I did. Never mind about
Potentially
that.
false alarm on the double
Keenan!
Johnson.
Keenan H from Chicago IL.
Cannon!
Got the Awesome Hardware Star Wars shirt.
Cannon!
Awesome Hardware merch, of course, supports both of our channels.
Miles B, Evolution Heather Dark Gray t-shirt and Bitwit Words in a Circle pint glass. Thank you very much for picking that up, sir.
We got Chuck S, or Charles S from Indiana. Got the Sword Fight gaming mousepad set. Johnson.
A CPU Cooler gaming mousepad goes to Andrew. Was that double? Did you have an Andrew or no?
I might have. Keenan. Ryan. Jason. Charles.
No, Andrew. You get a single Johnson, Mr. Andrew. Thank you for taking up that amount of our time. This is very special.
Derek H from Ohio. The Thumbscrew Gaming Desk Mat set and the bottle opener. Johnson, to you, Derek. Thank you.
Fernando, Evolution Heavy Metal Gray t-shirt, one of my personal favorites. Thank you for picking that up, sir.
Chad W.
Chad
from Texas. Awesome Hardware Sword Fight black
Chad.
tri-blend shirt.
Ryan L.
Johnson.
Ryan L. Evolution Heather Dark Gray t-shirt. A Johnson, a big, loud, and proud Johnson for you, sir.
Greg S. from Pennsylvania. The Thumbscrew Oxblood t-shirt. Always a classic. Johnson.
A Bitwit Circle logo and decal and Bitwit white logo black t-shirt was purchased by an Adam A. from Chula Vista, California. Hey, it's our own backyard. Thank you very much, Adam. A Johnson to you.
The Awesome Hardware RGB Everything Men's Dark Gray Heather t-shirt will be enjoyed by Samuel Y. from Florida. A Johnson for you, Samuel. Thank you.
Almost competes with Martin's purchase of the Bitwit Words in a Circle 20-ounce Tall Boy Imperial pint glass and a CPU Cooler navy blue t-shirt. Johnson to you, Martine.
No human on the face of the earth has ever been more impressed with a product delivered to them by mail than Abraham L. will be as he receives the Thumbscrew beer set, 2 glasses and opener, delivered to him in Texas. Thank you, Abraham, and a Johnson for you.
It's almost as mind-blowing and unbelievable as the purchase that Chad W. made from Fort Worth, Texas for a CPU Cooler Heather Dark Gray t-shirt limited edition product, and for which he received a large Johnson.
Good.
Giant Johnson in the face.
Final Johnson for me for this evening to Steve H. from Michigan. The Thumbscrew beer set is also what he got. 2 glasses and the opener. It's a great deal. Makes a great gift.
Almost as great a deal as the Bitwit Circle logo decal and Bitwit logo Heather Black t-shirt that was purchased by Austin R. from Catalina Jackson, Missouri? M.I. Is that Missouri or Mississippi? I feel like we've asked this question 30 times on the show already.
It's Missouri.
And we still don't know as California as citizens of the United States what MI stands for.
Michigan. It's
Michigan. I got both of them wrong.
Missouri.
It wasn't even in.
Missouri is
in
Missouri is
multiple
MO.
choice.
Missouri is MO,
MO.
which always screws with you.
Right?
Like there's an S.
You think it's
Missouri.
MS or MI?
Yeah.
Missouri.
Missouri's
Jesus.
MO. Mississippi is MS. Minnesota is MN. Michigan is MI.
Why even bother saying it? I'm going to forget it all anyway. We got a couple more Johnsons here for Joshua R. from Whittier, California. Oh. Definitely, like, literally our own backyard. Evolution Gaming Desk Mat. A big Johnson to you, sir. We have one from Brandon L. Bitwit Words in a Circle pint glass. Thank you, sir. We have 2 more here. Abraham L. Laredo, Texas. Thank you for also purchasing a pint glass. Those have been very popular tonight. And finally, Mr. Samuel Y. In Cypress Avenue of Orange City, Florida. for getting a Stay Positive Tri-Blend t-shirt.
Should read off his entire address.
Heck to the frickin' yeah. Maybe I will. Jesus.
You were close.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for Awesome Hardware 158. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I would say do timestamps for me because I am lazy and don't do them myself. I will love you forever if you do timestamps, and I will pin your comment and thank you personally. You can also do a Twitch raid. Let's do a freaking Twitch raid. Who are we Twitch raiding tonight?
Twitch raid.
We have a Twitch raid, don't we?
If you guys are watching live,
Dead Flip. Dead.
go over to Dead Flip.
DEAD, like you're dead. Dead _ flip. FLIP. Let's raid twitch.tv/dead _ flip, who is currently playing.
He's streaming some IRL right now.
Streaming some IRL. That's the nitty gritty shit, you know? That's like you're at the front line. This is life. This is life at its finest.
He's about to fight this guy right here.
Unedited. He's about to get into a fight right now. Go ahead and cheer him on. Blow his mind. And you get a full frontal of his face, so you get to see his mind blown as you raid the shit out of him.
Very erotic.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye, everyone.
Have a good night.
I'm gonna click this thing.